Hey, Paul. Paul Hamilton joining us on the Western Hotline. Hey, Paul.
Hey, guys. How are you?
How'd you like that game last night?
Well, they finally did something to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, the Penguins have been kind of a thorn in their side, and you were talking about it yesterday. You're exactly right. It seemed like you come to Pittsburgh and Buffalo takes the lead, maybe gets a 2-goal lead, and then it gets to the second period. Next thing you know, the Penguins score 3 and they're ahead and they win. I mean, it just seemed like no matter who the Sabres had on their team, that's what would happen when they go to Pittsburgh, and they'd lost to them twice this year. But they had a pretty dominant game. Malkin kind of helped the way because from that point on, I thought the Sabres really took over.
Yep.
And, had a nice game. And it's kind of weird when you see 3 shorthanded goals scored, 2 by Buffalo and 1 by Pittsburgh. And, Joe, am I allowed to troll Jeremy?
About what? Of course, yeah. Let's hear it.
That's okay?
Yeah, I'm giving approval.
Okay. Jeremy, the Sabres have a power play goal in 9 of their last 11 games.
I did bring that up, Paul.
Unbelievable.
I did bring that up. And then Joe pointed out it did take 4 of the 5 minutes to get it.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Coaches will tell power plays, don't get frustrated.
Well, all right, but still, but they also gave up a shorty, which means they're even on the night on the power play. If you give up a shorthanded goal, you're even.
Although, wait, to be fair, they also got a shorthanded goal.
That doesn't go in your power play stats. Their power play was even.
One of the 2 games they did not get a power play goal was Vegas, and they only had 1 power play.
Wasn't yesterday kind of the same thing, Paul, right? Like, I watched, and they had a lot of opportunities, right? They do get a power play goal, and I feel like I can't be mad about it because they scored, but I still don't feel like it looks good.
Yeah, then that's the problem with it. I mean, they might in a certain game get 4 power plays, score a goal, and the other 3 are like, what are you doing?
Right.
Type of a thing. I mean, that was everything you'd want in a power play. You got guys going to the net. You get a good rebound. Norris is going to the net, pops it in. And, that's what you're looking for in a power play. So, but then you watch some of the other power plays in a game, then you scratch your head going, what are you guys doing? It's a very strange dynamic.
It was a strange game, too, right? Like, it was a parade to the penalty box. I mean, there was the Malkin penalty, which, ended up being a lot of the Pittsburgh penalty minutes, but you had 13 penalties called in the game. It felt like you barely got any 5-on-5 time at some stretches.
Yeah, because what we're noticing, like the Vegas game, there were hardly any power. And quite honestly, and how I don't like NHL officiating, I don't think the officials missed all that much in the Vegas game. I don't think they were letting a lot go. It's just there weren't really all that many penalties to call. And but we have seen, I think, a lot of playoff officiating recently where they're basically letting a lot go. And unless you basically flip the puck over the glass or do what Malkin did, or do what Darlene did to make Malkin do that, you're getting to a point now where we're watching playoff refereeing.
Paul Hamilton. Paul, quick question before we get to the trades. The Sabres' ceiling, how far can they go? And I want to ask a second version of it. How far can they go if Josh Norris is in the lineup the whole time?
Josh Norris said in the post-game show last night he's having the most fun of his career, and he's acting like it on the ice. He just was snake bit for a while. He was getting chances, but they weren't going in the net. Now they're starting to go into the net for him. So it's one of those things. Yeah, if he can stay healthy, look at what they're doing. I mean, guys, March 5th. Yesterday was March 5th. On March 5th, they went past last year's point total, and there's still 20 games to go. Last year they had 79. They now have 80. Mm-hmm. So you look at that, and Rasmus Dahlin had a great big smile on his face afterwards saying, isn't this much more fun than what we did before?
Yeah, Paul, they're tied for first in the division. I had not thought that was realistic, but they've made up 8 points in a week. I know Tampa still has games in hand, but they play each other on Sunday. I mean, how realistic do you think it is that if they can track down the Lightning here and get home ice?
That's the thing. Right now, if you win those 2 games against Tampa, you've taken their games in hand away from them. Because now you've picked up 4 more points on them, which is what Tampa could pick up with their games in hand. So now, you've basically taken those games in hand away from them if you're able to win those 2 head-to-head matchups in Buffalo. As you mentioned, the first one is Sunday.
Paul Hamilton on the Western Hotline. Paul, your review of the trades. Samuel Carrick, the Sabres announced it as official for a 3rd and a 6th. And then Isaac Rosen, Jacob Bryson with 2 picks going to Winnipeg for a pair of defensemen, Luke Shen and Logan Stanley. What do you make of the moves?
Yeah, I mean, this year Rosen has come up and done better, but I'm still not at all convinced that he's going to be an NHL player. It just wasn't happening here for him, I don't think. So, I don't think if you're going to lose one of your prospects, I think that probably was a good idea. Carrick, I think, is excellent because, I like Dunn. I like Kozak, but I think he's a better version of either one of them. I mean, his face-offs, you can't argue with that at all. And he will be taking key face-offs for the Sabres. I think he will combine very well with Mallenstein. And, I had heard through the grapevine that Kekalainen thought this team needed to be tougher. And first, he according to reports, he went for the big swing. Well, it wasn't there. St. Louis wasn't going to trade Thomas unless they got an offer they couldn't refuse, and Kekalainen wasn't going to go that far. And then he tried to get the defenseman, Parayko, and they were willing to go what it was going to take, but he nixed that trade. So then Kekalainen is like, well, the big swing hasn't been there right now, so let's work on the depth. Let's work on making this team tougher. Stanley does that. Now, what Stanley also does, he's having a good year offensively this year, but Buffalo has done such a good job of cleaning up their own end, cutting the turnovers way down, and playing good defensive hockey so their goaltenders don't have to face 3-on-1s all night. And their goaltenders have responded well to that too. Stanley has a turnover problem. He's not the greatest in his offensive zone. So I'm thinking it'll be another defenseman that might play for a while during a game, but when you get into the 1-1 game or the 2-1 game in the third period, you probably won't see much of him.
That's what happened. That's what happened in Winnipeg last year in the playoffs, Paul. Like, he would play early and then would often find the bench. I was looking at that a lot today. Like, he only averaged 11 minutes during their playoff run last season.
Yeah, and Shen's a 2-time Cup champion. I think it's a good depth. I think you've improved your depth, over Bryson. He's a different type of a player, but he's a winning player. He knows what it takes to win, and, a good number 7 guy. It doesn't alleviate, I don't think, the minutes that some of the top 4 guys get, which I would have liked to have seen, but they tried to do that, and it didn't work. I mean, Parayko turned him down. So the next best thing is, we're going to get tougher. We're going to bring in some experience. We're going to bring in some face-offs, and we're going to make the bottom part of our lineup better to help the top part of our lineup be better also. So, I like the trades. I mean, you didn't have to give up a lot to get any of these players, and you move forward, and I think you have improved your team.
You think they're done, or would Jarmo maybe be open to something else still if he wants to, make a splash? He still might hunt for one.
I think I'm going to say, now that I've seen him in action in both Columbus and Buffalo, Jarmo Kekalainen is never done. Mm-hmm. He could trade for Thomas in the next hour, and I would still say he's not done. He's still calling, still trying to do things. So he may not make another trade, but I don't think he's done. I think those phones will be burning up right till 3 o'clock.
I pointed out earlier, Paul, they retained salary in the Winnipeg deal. Winnipeg did. Like, are you doing that unless you want to save room in case there is a move to come still?
No, absolutely. So it just keeps flexibility in his hands if he needs to use that flexibility. So I think that's good planning also, because You don't know at 1 o'clock this afternoon if somebody's going to call and say, hey, are you interested in this guy? And you're like, ooh, he's available? Okay. You don't know if that call is going to come, and you want to have that flexibility just in case that call does come. So, I think that's good planning on Kekalainen's part.
Paul Hamilton's appearance brought to you by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this. Thank you, Paul.
Take care, guys.
5-game homestand on the way for the Sabres. Nashville, Tampa.
Who helped us out a little bit yesterday, right?
San
Nashville
Jose.
beat, Boston.
San Jose, Washington, and the Leafs. Are the Caps selling?
They made a seller's move yesterday.
They did.
Yeah.
John Carlson to the Ducks.
Oh, sorry. That was the bigger one, right?
Yeah.
Nick Dowd was the little one. They traded John Carlson.
Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it? Ovechkin at this age, you're not going to try to exhaust all the season to try to make it with him again?
That's the Tuck trade. That's final year of a deal. Let's get something for a guy that we get a return on.
I guess I'm just wondering, because of Ovechkin's presence still being on the team, I'm surprised that you wouldn't want to you would have him on the team and still be making like a rebuilder's trade.
Yeah. You want to trade for Ovechkin? He's a pending UFA.
Oh my! Is that a let's get stupid, or is that a real idea?
You want to fix the power
Do
play?
I want to trade for Ovechkin?
Absolutely,
I want to trade for Alex Ovechkin.
How many power play goals do you have?
What do they want? This year?
Yeah.
He only has 4 this year.
Listen, change of
He's
scenery.
40.
I think he's due for a change. 803-0550. Mark Grody of The Score in Chicago coming up top of the hour.